finally done being my friend's emotional dumping ground. Names changed. Long post. Grammar corrected via AI. 15 years ago in college, Mandy and I, both 35 FRN, became friends. I went to that college for 1.5 years, then got admission in another college in another city. After 6 months, Mandy phoned me because she was in some personal distress. Telephonic conversations became a common, daily thing. Most of the time, she would talk about her boy problems and I would listen. 2 years later, 2014 maybe, I went to her home too, to give her a surprise visit on her birthday with cake, balloons, and all. We hung out at her home, happy time. The thing is that I have always been the one wishing her birthday at night, been almost one of earliest wishers, while she for about 6 to 8 years now, has persistently keeping on forgetting my birthday entirely. And would either wish many days later, whenever she'd remember, or it'd entirely pass by her memory. Anyway, going back to the story, around 2014, calls continued. Over the next few years, calls continued and we would talk about many things, like life and daily updates, but ultimately each call conversation would be led by her into talking sulkingly about her boy issues. This would get on my nerves often. Despite my repeatedly letting her know of my disinterest in her sulking talks, she would not budge. Her life revolved around boys, either crushing over them or being one-sidedly infatuated with them. She, also in all 12 to 13 years mentioned or promised various times that she would visit my college. Then when I started working professionally at my college, she said she would visit my workplace and hostel. Then, when I resigned and started working from home and stayed at home all day in my home city, which was the same city where she lived as well, she told me on the phone she would come visit me. But, she never came. 10 years, hollow words. Now, talking about 6 years, 2020 to 2026, when I continued to work from home, calls lessened, but whenever there would be calls, they would be about her discussing her boy issues. Many a time, I would listen, despite tiringly long calls, but other times, I would express my annoyance as well, regarding her always talking about the same thing, boys or men. Multiple times I said to her over all these years that I didn't have the patience anymore to listen to her talking about men, but her reply would always be on the lines of what to do, this is me. I can't help it, Cassie. In mid-December 2021, she lost her dad. I phoned her the same day expressing condolences. I phoned her again on December 31st night. She insisted on not talking about her dad and I agreed. She, instead, gushed on and on about how she had developed the hots for this new guy from her colony. I was taken aback and almost disgusted internally at her talking about this at such a sensitive time, but anyway we kept talking. Talks ended, I wished her a happy new year 2022, cut the phone saying I would call her the next day, but I did not call. 5 months later, I lost my dad. She phoned me, maybe we talked briefly. For a month, I was kind of active on social media, responding to DMs and posting 2 to 3 stories throughout 1 month, but after that I completely shut myself down. I was not attending anyone's calls, not checking DMs for weeks, not wanting to respond to anybody at all, not wanting to do so, just angry inside at everyone and everything, trying to process things at my pace. I told her on direct message that it would take me some time to get back to normal and for her to hold on until then. 1.5 years later, in November 2023, I finally phoned her. We talked for about 50 minutes, out of which I talked exclusively for 20 to 22 minutes, and the rest she talked. At some point in this call, I do not know when, her sister sneakily took the phone from her hands, and started humming along, making generic listening noises. I felt something was odd and questioned Mandy what was wrong, and she and her sister burst out laughing, and her sister said to me mockingly, "Can you not make out the voice difference between me and Mandy?" I was bewildered and taken aback at what had just happened, and how Mandy could have even let that happen, seeing the sensitivity of the moment, since I was calling after such a long time and was finally opening up to someone about my grief over this call. Anyway, about 30 minutes later, the call ended, with me feeling hollow and like I wanted to share so much more because so much time had gone by without me talking to anyone else, but anyway maybe that was not Mandy's problem. She ended the call by saying she would call me the next day, but that call never came, which was maybe karma returning to me. She then called 3 months later, same, men issues. Months passed, 1 to 2 calls per month, usual calls, 80 to 90% of the time, her yapping about her ex-boyf, while me, listening and trying to find advice or whatever. Come September, finally she started sending single-line texts, 1 to 2 per week, on Instagram, indicating that she needed to tell me something crucial. I could smell from the texts it was regarding her wedding being fixed. I grew cold feet, since I hated attending weddings and being a part of social gatherings. I was confused about what to do, whether to come clean to her stating I will not be attending, which might, as I knew, lead to our friendship breaking, or whether to completely ignore her texts. I ended up choosing the latter and began ghosting her. I initially ordered returnable party clothes online and tried them to see if they suited me, but they did not suit me well, so I returned the clothes and kept ghosting her. I replied far and few times to her on Facebook Messenger rather, stating there was a bug issue on the Instagram direct message section, which was a lie curated by me. 3 to 4 months passed. January 2025 came. She lost her patience. Finally she wrote on Facebook Messenger to me that she would be not calling me now ever, and if I want to connect, I may. I, wantingly or unwantingly, had kind of found a weird kind of peace in the last few months of not being in her contact, so I chose to let her go. 2 days, probably, before the wedding, I installed my WhatsApp and saw an unseen message in the archived section from her. She had sent me her wedding card and wedding invite. Although I had long ago decided not to attend, yet I do not know, maybe somehow my ego led me to thinking that it was weird of her to only send a digital invite despite us being friends for so long. I wondered how and why she did not act traditionally, sending a parcel wedding card or actually barging into my house to invite me personally. Anyway, she got married in February 2025. Both of us lost touch for 1.25 years. Amidst this 1.25 years, I talked to my mom about her a few times. I told my mom that ultimately Mandy would need me, because she has never been self-contained or self-content. She has always needed support, so she might ultimately come back. And in the end week of May 2026, Mandy sent me a friend request on Instagram and a direct message which had a peeping from behind a leaf moving sticker. I have kept her in a restricted account, so I ignored it. 2 days later, I posted my cover song as my Instagram story. Our mutual college mate, Gilda, replied, "Hi Cassie," to my story, and for some reason, I could smell from afar what was coming, because this was an odd response from Gilda on that post, as much as I knew her. We shared pleasantries, and she asked me if I happened to have recently talked to Mandy or had any updates on her, to which I inquired instinctively if everything was fine. She replied Mandy had been trying to reach me but my phone was on switched off. To which I said that, since I wasn't on talking terms with Mandy, I would not want to discuss it any further with any third person, apologizing for doing so. Gilda understood and apologized multiple times, saying that that wasn't what was told to her by Mandy. Gilda apologized for intruding. Then she said that Mandy had actually messaged her a few days back, telling her about her recent distressing issues. Gilda asked her if she had tried telling all that to Cassie, me, and Mandy answered that my phone always came as switched off whenever she dialed my number. Which is right also, since I kept my phone mostly on airplane mode. I've 2 phones. Mandy had that phone number which was on the other phone, that I usually kept on airplane mode for some other reason, not because of Mandy at all. Mandy, a week later, direct messaged my sister and sent her a friend request on Instagram as well. She did not accept and did not open the direct message, only read it via phone notifications and sent a screenshot of it on our family group WhatsApp, saying that the friend request had actually come a week ago. I checked my request DMs. Mandy again sent me a text 3 to 4 days ago, saying I need your help Cassie. But this time I don't want to return. I'm exhausted. Why, but I just feel exhausted in this friendship. This time, I want to let this go. And choose my peace of mind.